What's up, everybody? It's a beautiful early March morning. Well, actually, it's afternoon now, Sunday afternoon. And I've got some work to do to get the old tracker ready to go for the season. If you're new to the channel, this is my Tracker Pro Team 195 TXW Tournament Edition. I bought this back in 2021, and it's been awesome. It was a significant upgrade from the 16-foot John boat that I had prior to that. It's got the Mercury Pro XS 115 on it. It's a little dirty because I haven't used it since, I don't know, right after Christmas, I think was the last time I had it out. So I took all the batteries out because I was trying to deal with an issue down in there. I need to get the battery charger all hooked back up and put the batteries back in. This rod locker is a mess, and if you're wondering what all those black tubes are, they're actually the rod storage tubes that are in each side compartment like this. But I wanted to be able to fit each rod locker. There's 2 rod lockers, one on each side of the boat, and each of them have 12 rod tubes in them. But I wanted to be able to put all of my rods on one side and keep the other side open for storing things if we're out on the water or like out, just extra space essentially. So I came in here a few weeks ago when it was nice out, and I actually took out the insert that went at the front that had the holes cut out for it and pulled all the tubes out. It looked like that before I yanked all those tubes out, all the spray foam that holds them in. So I've got to finish basically protecting the edge of that aluminum and plastic piece there. And I've got rod socks for all of my rods so that I can just drop them all in that spot and then kind of pull stuff in and out throughout the day, instead of, it's just harder to get stuff in and out if they're slid into all the tubes, because it's just hard. You can't move them around and kind of shuffle around when each rod is stuck in its own tube. And then I also reworked my tackle storage a little bit, kind of how I organized and I'm storing stuff in the boat. So I'm just putting this whole thing back together this afternoon, because I'm gonna try to go fishing tomorrow afternoon, which will be the rest of this video, hopefully. So all that being said, I'm gonna start putting this thing back together. All right, one thing taken care of. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but there's really not a lot of room in this battery compartment slash gas tank compartment slash net storage area. So got it done as neatly as I could. Chargers hooked up and charging up the lithium batteries. So next up is cleaning out rod lockers and getting this one ready to go. Got it all vacuumed up now. I also taped off that opening. It's not super fancy. There's actually a company that makes an insert to go there that would look a lot cleaner, but you know, I figured I could do it on a budget and make it be functional. And it doesn't have to look pretty because it's inside of a rod locker that nobody's ever going to see. The one thing I do need to do at some point soon is address the carpet. The adhesive that was holding it down has obviously started to fail, which is fine because it's almost 4 years old at this point and it's gotten a decent amount of use. I think what I'm going to do for now is just staple the carpet back down, like stretch it back over and staple it down all along that line so I can get a little bit more use out of it. And then I will decide what I'm going to do. If I may just replace the floor section down here with something with a different product. They have some like rubber boat flooring products that would be kind of nice. It would look a little bit nicer, and it would just it might be easier than redoing carpet. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with that yet, but I need to get some. Actually, I think I have stainless steel staples. I just don't have a staple gun, and so I need to get a staple gun so that I can put some staples down on that carpet and hold it where it should be. So now that the boat is all, well, not super clean, but cleaned out and ready to go, it is time to get rods and tackle and all that stuff stowed away for the season. Shout out Tackle Warehouse for all these goodies. To be clear, I'm not sponsored. They didn't give me any of this, obviously. I just love Tackle Warehouse because they have almost everything you could ever need as an angler. And if you buy more than $50 worth of stuff at one time, you get free shipping. And I've done that like 4 times in the last couple months. So it's awesome. And I got all these different lengths. I bought these 3 rod socks first so that I could figure out which length worked best for all my rods. And then I ordered all the rest of these color coded so that they're easy to keep track of. And yeah, time to put some rods in these rod socks. I actually realized after I said that, I ordered 3 different colors. The white are for spinning rods, and then the red and blue that I had ordered for the casting rods. And they're 2 different lengths. And I intended to order these 3 are the same length as the red one, but I apparently clicked the wrong color. However, it doesn't matter because regardless of what color the overall sock is, the ends are what tell you how long it is. So I will know that the yellow end, regardless of which color sleeve it is, these are like 3 inches longer for some of my longer rods. So I'm not gonna have to figure out some way to label these differently because they have different ends, which is super cool. Boom. So before, if I had this entire locker full of all 12 casting rods that I kept over here, it was all the way up to the top, and as you can see, I don't know, half full maybe. But the really nice thing about this, and it's gonna be hard to do this with one hand probably, but it will allow me, if I don't want a rod on the top or I wanna switch out, I can easily kind of move rods around and pull something out. If I wanna get to this rod that's down at the bottom, I can just grab it and pull it out. Whereas I could not very easily do that before when they were all in the individual tubes up front. It was just a lot harder to get to stuff. So this should make it a lot easier, and I'll be more likely to not have every rod I feel like I want on a given trip out on the deck because it's hard to get to them. So hopefully that makes sense, but I think it will work out well going forward, especially as I add more rods. Again, it allows me to keep all the rods on one side, and then this side is kind of the day box. Like last year when I went, when Josh and I went down to Kerr Lake or Bugs Island Lake, that locker was kind of where we stored food. We put like a whole case of water, bottled water in there. Stored a lot of stuff in there because we were out on the water from literally sun up to sundown, and so it was helpful to store extra things there. Because this boat, it's an 18.5-foot boat. It's not huge. It doesn't have a ton of storage. It's obviously a lot more than a John boat, but nothing like some of the bigger glass boats that have as far as storage wise. So nice to have a little bit of extra space over there. All right, so now that I got everything stowed away properly in the boat, give you a quick tour of where everything is before close this portion of the video out and get ready to go do some fishing tomorrow, hopefully. So in these two middle compartments, this first one is all of my hard baits. So crankbaits, jerk baits, top water stuff, bladed jigs, all that kind of stuff. And then also all of my, you know, random stuff, pliers, scale, bug spray, lure knocker, all that good stuff. All the little stuff that fits perfectly in all these cup holders and stuff. So that's, I've had that stuff in this compartment pretty much the whole time I've had the boat, I think. And then in this one, the bigger one, up under the front is where I've got my throwable, my flare gun, my other life jackets. And then I've changed up how I'm doing my soft plastics for this season. Either last year or the year before, I just went on Amazon and bought some little plastic tubs, and they fit perfectly in this space, but they limited how much I could put, you know, obviously in each container. And then also, I felt like they limited, I mean, between 4 containers, I had to try to group all of my plastics in those, but then it was just, like I might have 2 or 3 different types of soft plastics in one, you know, tub, and I would have to dig through and find the right one that I was looking for. So I decided it would probably be a little bit more efficient to go back to having everything grouped by type of bait in Ziploc bags that just are labeled. So that's what I've done here. I've got every single different category of plastics. So, you know, what have I got? Lizards, stickworms, well, bigger stickworms, smaller stickworms, creatures, a couple different types of creatures actually, jerkworms, curly tails, minnows, trailers, big worms, drop shot, all the different categories. So it should make it much easier to find a specific bait when I'm out on the water trying to find what I want. That's my spinner and buzz bait box. I've had that for quite a while. But then the last big change is my terminal tackle. So I've been using this Googan Squad box for a while, and it's fine, but it's a 3600 size box, so it's a little bit smaller, and it's also warped around the edges, so it's not really waterproof anymore, as you can see by the amount of rust stains in there. I've had a lot of hooks rust out on me. So I decided to upgrade to this Plano 3700 size box. I don't remember what the actual number is, but it's a dedicated terminal tackle box. And it's the entire front is the hinge, which I like because I think it'll help keep the lid more secure and therefore keep water out. But then each of these little containers are also easily removable. And like if moisture does get in here, like in the bottom, in theory, it wouldn't get into each of these containers. It's also got a little water wick here in the middle. It's also, you can see the size difference in the two. So I think this is going to work out a lot better. Allows me to, it was hard to dig stuff out of some of these small, I mean, it's like, I can barely put my finger in these. So I think this is going to be a little bit easier, and I may change up how this is all set up. I actually kind of like, these are kind of cool. This is the weight storage. So it's just a little flip up. Super easy to just grab weights real quickly. I hope that will be a nice improvement over that setup. And I usually keep this guy down in here because this is where all the rest of my plastics are, so it just makes sense. And this gives me, I've got more extra room in here, so like if I want to keep something that I often don't have a good spot for when I'm out on the water is like my drone case, my camera case, things like that. This will be the perfect spot for that because I can just put it under that box and it stays out of the way when I don't need it. Keeps it dry, all the good things like that. That's about it. I got the batteries charging. I just got to make sure my cranking battery is good. Throw a charger on that. And although I'm probably not going to need it, or I think I'm going to go fishing tomorrow, but I am excited and ready to go do some fishing tomorrow afternoon and evening, hopefully. So I will see you guys out on the water tomorrow afternoon. All right, out here on the water now. Beautiful day. First day on the water all year. It's always awesome. It is like in the mid 60s right now, I think, and overcast, windy, should be perfect. I am on a reservoir that is electric only, So cruising along with the Minn Kota Ultrex. This thing is super awesome for bodies of water like this because it's got GPS built in. So not only can I have the motor constantly running, but whichever direction I turn the motor, it will keep it going that direction. So I can just put it on 10 and cruise and cover water. So I'm gonna start, I put in over there, it's not even a boat ramp, it's literally just a little sandy bank. I have to back my truck all the way in the water to get the boat deep enough. But I'm gonna start, go down this riprap line to the bridge over there, and then I'm just gonna work my way around, hitting docks, and there's another bridge around the corner over there. Just see what I can get into. All right, so no bites yet. I am tying on this spinner bait. Took off the secondary chatterbait that I had on it, or my second chatterbait, I should say. Just a little 1/4 ounce white and chartreuse spinner bait. We now interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to talk about how I made a really dumb boo-boo out on the water while filming this video. There's a little button right next to the power button that if you press it, it puts this camera in what I like to call B-roll mode, because it automatically films in slow motion with no sound. So it's great for B-roll, not so great when you're trying to talk to the camera and show off a nice fish you caught later in the video. I was able to save a few clips where I had the GoPro running as well, so I pulled the GoPro audio and then, you know, sped up the slow-mo clip and edited it because it looked weird with the slow motion filter, essentially. So sorry about that. Enjoy the rest of this video with some heavily edited clips of me talking and maybe my mouth not perfectly matching up with the words, or me just having to do voiceovers because I was just filming in slow motion a lot towards the end of this video. I will try to do better next time. The only fish that I have ever seen on this reservoir is actually somewhere on that bank over there. So I'm actually switching sides right now. So that's the boat ramp, That's the boat ramp, or where I launched over there. And I went down that side, but it's just really shallow over there on that side. So I decided to jump back over here where it's a little bit deeper. And I'm just gonna go down this bank until I feel like I'm gonna turn around, and then I'll come back down the other direction. But somewhere, it might actually be, you probably can't see it, but there is a lay down like right around in there. And I think that is the only place that I've ever even seen a fish on this lake. I took a buddy out here with me a few years ago, and he hooked a pretty good one on a spinner bait and broke it off, unfortunately, because his drag was set really tight. But I'm just gonna go down that bank and see what happens. It's still beautiful out here. Like, yeah, I just love being out on the water. just checked the GoPro like 10 minutes ago, I swear, and it was still running. So it must have died like right when I pulled up on this spot. But I am so happy that this is not a bust because it's cooling off. I'm starting to get to that point where I'm like, I got a really long ways to cruise back to the boat ramp, and it's amazing how one fish can just totally rejuvenate you. Plus, I mean, it's freaking beautiful out here. We're gonna have the sun setting back there in a little bit. Just looking across the opposite shoreline where the sun's landing on it, but I'm in the shade. The moon's out. I mean, it's just beautiful out here. So even though it was a bit of a long ride back to the boat ramp from where I caught that fish, it's hard to beat staring at a view like that, relaxing and eating a protein bar while cruising back to the ramp. Starting the year off right with a almost 3-pound fish. That was a 2-pound, 10-ounce largemouth. So starting the year off with a pretty decent average weight and not getting skunked, which is always a plus. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one.